My friends, Viel, hello. I'm going to tell you a story, an arm wrestling match I had with my N plus one. By the way, before talking about my N plus one, let me tell you about my book, Toxic, which is available in audio format. You asked me for it. I did it. When I say I did it, I mean no one else did it for me. I recorded it. Okay, I recorded it. It's not a synthetic voice or anything. It's all me. I recorded it, my microphone, all that. It took a good week of work. I did it. It's available on Audible, the book Toxic, What Career Coaches Don't Tell You. So now I'm going to tell you a story. One day, I was hired by a company, and then I had a direct supervisor who was a director. And this supervisor, he was a guy from Singapore, not a very easygoing person between us. And I was in Singapore, him too. And sometimes he was in the United States. He didn't work in the same office. I was in the United Kingdom. And actually, when I went to the office, I would also run into a director who was there, but we didn't talk much. Actually, not a very nice guy. The guy was there. Well, that's it. But he wasn't my direct supervisor, but he was there. And then from time to time, I would ask him questions. So I'm telling you that what happened is that the American company, because the Americans, they have a very Victorian view of labor law. Well, when they say you want me to push the guys under my responsibility, you want me to push them to work. It's hard to work 7 days a week, to work on weekends. Why? Because for me, the company was going under. You see, it was eating sand. A lot of people had left, all that. They couldn't keep up. They couldn't meet their commitments. And so at some point, he found himself short staffed. So what did he want us to do? He wanted me to encourage people to work during the weekend. Every weekend, of course, as people say, it's every other weekend. That means they wanted to invent the 2-day week. So we work 2 weekends. Well, we work 2 weeks in a row. And then, well, there you go. We get a weekend to rest and we show up exhausted on Monday morning. So what happened? Of course, I refused. So, well, it was a standoff. Yeah, you know what they told me, just for your own information. You know what they told me. Seriously, they told me, today you're part of management. You shouldn't think about the workers' interests anymore. You have to think about the interests of the company, of the corporation. Wait, that's just messing with us because look, I'm not corruptible, but a lot of people say that, well, maybe I am, I don't know. But in any case, let's even imagine the worst case scenario. Let's say I was corruptible, I would still only be corruptible for a lot of money, right? You're not going to put me as a manager who is basically a glorified foreman, you see, who barely makes more than the guys under his responsibility. And then you want me to start getting all worked up and feel close to the chief executive officer. No, I mean, as a manager, you're just one level above everyone else. What? Okay, so anyway, I turned him down. So what happened is that when I turned him down, well, there was no more of that. So the guy from Singapore, well, he said he was from Singapore, but I don't think he was any more from Singapore than you are. I think he was, I don't know, maybe Chinese or something else, but it gives you a certain image to say, I'm from Singapore. Anyway, for us, past a certain longitude, well, we don't really make much of a difference anymore. That's just how it is. The other day I made a video, I swear, on my main channel. What did I say? I said, no, not that this one isn't my main channel. I love this channel. But what I said a Chinese car, SsangYong. And then a lot of people came into the comments telling me, listen, SsangYong isn't a Chinese car. It's a Korean car. South Korea, that's right. I'd love to see a North Korean car. It must exist and would be funny. That's a real head turner. You'd look twice if you saw one drive by. But what I was saying is that, well, for people, we're pretty much in the same ballpark, unless someone is really familiar with these places in the world. So I was telling you about my N plus one, the Chinese guy. You see, he invited me to a restaurant, a sushi place, something pretty disgusting. He invited me to a place, a dive. Somewhere in California, there's good food in California if you want. But here, he invited me to a place, a filthy little joint. You see, it was with people who were cutting up fish. See, they were against industrialization. They took the raw fish just like that, beach on a plate, bam, they give it to you. You know what I mean? So, and in there was only one Christian thing. It was a can of Coke. That's what I could drink. So he took me there to make me a little uncomfortable. You see, it's a strategy. He takes me there. I go to the table. I start attacking a half alive couple like that, voraciously chewing on the stuff that's coming out. You already feel uncomfortable. So you say, eat, 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 like that, right? I said, it's fine. I have my cinnamon Coke. It's kosher enough. So it's okay. I'll stick with that. Thanks then. I was saying what happened is that he invited me to this restaurant because it had been 3 months, the 3 months of my trial period, if you want, probation. I don't know how you call it. Probation is more of a legal thing, but you get what I mean. So he told me, listen, I thought about it. So I thought about it. What was he thinking about? His thought was, listen, we're going to extend your thing period. We're going to extend your probation period. So honestly, my friends, I worked like a beast for those 3 months. Sometimes I had meetings at 5 a.m. I'm in the United Kingdom, just to give you the time zone. I had meetings at 5 a.m. because I had to talk to people who were in Singapore, who were in Asia, etc. You see, and often what I had to do, sometimes from my bed at 11 p.m. or midnight, I'm lying there with my headset on, listening to people in California, you see, having discussions. So I had to take part in all that. I can tell you, I was dead for those 3 months. They pushed me to my limit, not even counting the trips and everything else. Well, that really shocked me. It really shocked me because I wasn't expecting it. Because finding a guy who's willing to struggle for them like that, I'll just say, forget it. It's not possible. But he wanted to play poker. He wanted to punish me because I didn't want to make people work a 12-day week. So he wanted to, and what did he do? He justified it. He said, in our place, we still see I defended you even though it was two-faced. You kept your job, so we could have fired you today. But what's happening is that we feel he doesn't have enough loyalty. We see the company, he doesn't have enough loyalty. That means loyalty to the company. Loyalty is a code word. It means you're ready to betray anyone, you're ready to crush anyone for the interest of the shareholders, for the interest of the next quarter, and all that. I'm going to tell you a really weird story. Let me tell you something, by the way. I'm African, so the stories in my head are kind of like Russian nesting dolls, not African dolls, actually. Before that, check out the pinned link in the comments. That's Kiluz, the partner of this channel, partner of Languedat. They're based in France. Contact them only if you're in France. And they can help people find a job when they've lost theirs or change jobs when they want to switch, but they need to be helped, they need to be taken care of, they need someone to support them in this. Their support is taken care of to a certain extent, or in some cases fine print, as they say, by France Travail, by my training account. I'm not French, so I get confused and mix up these concepts. In any case, the link is in the pinned comment. I'll tell you the story. By the way, the worst I've seen. People who are willing to do anything to prove their loyalty to the company. A guy who was in one, I'm being vague about the details, aren't I? So they don't recognize themselves who's in a company. Well, the manager who was extremely, a tough woman. Well, she had a favorite. She had a favorite in the team. And every time there was a meeting, yes, so and so, tell us what you've done. And so she was always promoting this guy. Probably a family relationship or something else. I have no idea. After all, what people do behind closed doors, I'm not just going to come out and make assumptions in public. You see, that's it. I'm just telling you like that. So I was telling you that she acted like that in front of him. You know what one guy did, what another team member did, his favorite? He said in the open space at one point, next weekend, I have to move, I'm moving. There are a lot of boxes, they're struggling. We all complain about moving. Let me tell you something. Guys, well, like the tough guys, they all complain about moving. The problem with moving isn't a lower class problem, it's more of a populist problem. Everyone has this problem. And actually, I'm telling you, you know what that guy did? To prove his loyalty to the company, he rented a truck and spent his weekend helping with the move. The favorite of the boss. Okay, the favorite. He helped her move. Okay, so this is bootlicking. It's sarcasm. It's second rate bootlicking. I'm not bootlicking the manager. That's something a lot of people do. I'm going to bootlick the manager's favorite. So that maybe like an Algerian song says, I pass by. It's an Andalusian song. Maybe some people will recognize it. I walk past the doors for no reason at all. I walk past the doors, in front of the houses, hoping to see you. hoping to see you, or hoping to see the one who sees you or those who see you. See what I mean at this point? Missing her, that must have been the sign. So he would walk by like that, hoping to see her, or catch a glimpse of her at a window on a balcony, or maybe, if not, at least catch a glimpse of someone who sees her. You know what I mean? Terrible, terrible situation. People can be romantic sometimes. Well, I'm not romantic anymore. I used to be romantic at one time. You know, seriously, I'm telling you, I could make you a video. I was really romantic at one time. You won't believe me because now you see me today. Well, the guy, well, he has a lot of good qualities. People like him. But when it comes to romance, well, let's just say that's not really his thing anymore. Me, I was like, yeah. No, I don't even dare. You know, when I think about the time when I was romantic, I feel like that's it. I feel like I'm digging into someone else's life. I feel like I'm being a voyeur. I feel like I'm opening someone else's mail to read it, yet that someone else is me. But at this point, I'm so distant from that sinister character, isn't it me? It's today that I've become sinister. Anyway, I'm telling you, the guy, well, that's it. You know, I finished my Coke and I took off. So what happened? He had just extended my probation period. So what I did was, well, I went back to the United Kingdom. And then after that, he kept piling more work on me. That means everything I was doing is work and he kept adding to the load. So, well, I had to prove my loyalty then. Well, I proved my loyalty to him. So what I did was I waited 1 week, two, three. I was making commitments. I was saying yes to everything. I had become the yes man. Yes, you want a project. Yes, client, you want to go see him. Yes, you're ready to fly somewhere else to go again. Yes, of course, buy the ticket. All that commitments nonstop. So I made a lot of commitments and I won't hide it. It's just between us here, no one else. That was a long time ago. I had no intention of honoring those obligations. I was just saying yes. You see, to make my departure, you guessed it, I think. It was twisted, you guessed it, to make my departure even more terrible, you see. For him, then, what I did was I waited for the worst moment. So I was calculating, I was making an index of each day, if you want. There was a level of trouble. So one day, that level of trouble was like the phone breaking down that day of trouble if I leave today in terms of trouble. For them, it was the equivalent between the phone breaking down and the toilet not flushing, you know, in the bathroom and so on. Until the moment when I reached, with my index finger, I reached my friends, a level, you know, a level that's not just in terms of trouble. What did I do? It was, I think, 3 in the afternoon. I send him an email. We say, you know what? After careful consideration of everything I did, after careful consideration, I felt regret. You know, I felt regret. Actually, I didn't regret anything. I just threw out the phrase like that, you know, the polite mistake in those cases. And actually, I said that, well, that I regretted to inform that I had decided to resign. On the other hand, I added something, a little thing just to sting, you know, like that, just to show I'm better than someone else. Me, I said, since the trial period goes both ways, I found a slightly more elegant way to put it than that. I said that the trial period goes both ways. During the trial period, you can fire me whenever you want. Under British law, during the trial period, you can say you're leaving now, you're leaving here. Or the opposite is also true. That means that during the trial period, I don't have to give any notice. You see what I mean? So what happened is, I think in my contract, I had a 3-day notice period or something like that that they added, except that I had accumulated for 3 days of vacation. So I said, my last day of work is today. It's 3 p.m. I'm leaving the office at 5 p.m. and I'm not coming back. I'm leaving my badge. They like to use that, so I comply. I'm going to return the company's property. They like to say you have to return the company's property. So I have a badge and an old crappy computer. So there you go. I left the company's property at the reception. Afterwards, I ran into that director who was always dressed like a golfer. He looked at me. We didn't exchange a word. He looked at me with a lot of hostility. It seems like, I don't know, I did something personal to him. So I left them in trouble, in such big trouble. By the way, 3 weeks later, that guy who was just another one, the fake Singaporean, he resigned. Him too, I think I left him with such a mess of trouble that he thought, all things considered, it's better to get out. It's better if I leave. But that's what you find in a lot of companies, the lose-lose. I lose, you see what I mean? Because by doing what he did, he put obstacles in my way. He wanted me to fail in a situation where, I mean, failure, my failure is failure. For him, it's just one more, just another one after all. I mean, it's up to him to choose the right people. It's up to him to manage things properly. If I mess up, he will too. That's what happened. You see this pattern often. I'll discuss it and share more examples another time. In a company where you're not always in a battle, and that works all the time. You're not in a battle between people who are interested in living. Here's an example. It might be harsh, but you'll understand. Take nuclear deterrence. Nuclear deterrence, why does it work? It works because it's between two opponents, and each one wants to live, each one values life. So no one has any interest in starting a nuclear war because they know the other will respond. So actually, that's what creates a kind of deterrence. If you destroy me, you destroy yourself too, except that that doesn't work. In the business world, unfortunately, you'll find many, many situations where people are willing to lose just so the other person loses too. You see, there you go, my friends. Thank you for watching this video up to this point, for joining me in this little story. Don't forget there's a pinned comment under this video, and keep sending your questions. The phone number is widely available, and let me remind you about my book, Toxic, which is now available on Audible. See you very soon.